Unit 2, Chapter 6, Lesson 2, Settlements Grow. Objective: How did Spanish increase its efforts to colonize Texas? We will learn about the many missions in Texas. I will learn about the locations of missions in Texas. This is an irrigation system of the San Antonio Missions. Facts about the San Antonio Missions irrigation system: built in 7045 and it's run consistently since. Diverts the water from the San Antonio River north of the missions. Includes 7 acequias or irrigation ditches and 1 aqueduct. That's what's shown in the picture. It has 5 dams and stretches 15 miles. Has irrigated 3,500 acres of land. Terms to know: there's the Alamo. Secure, to gain control of. Locate, to put in a place or position. Canal, a human-made waterway. Detachment, a small unit of a military force. The growth of missions. How did Spain increase its efforts to colonize Texas? The Spanish word about French plans to occupy East Texas. They decided to secure the area, so the Spanish viceroy ordered new missions for East Texas. Spanish soldiers and families would be needed to help settle the area. Frenchman Louis de Saint Denis had been sent by the French to work with the Spanish. He had both experience with the trails and good relations with the Native Americans. The Spanish had him guide the soldiers and settlers on their journey to East Texas. The Spanish arrived in June 1716 at the site of San Francisco de los Tejas. They founded a mission called Nuestro Padre San Francisco de los Tejas. Within a year, the Spanish had built 6 missions in the area. Franciscan missionary Antonio Margil de Jesus founded these missions: Nuestra Señora de los Dolores, San Miguel de los Ades, San Jose y San Miguel de Aguayo. I'm sorry if I messed up the pronunciation in those words. Okay, the Spanish also built a presidio, Nuestra Señora de los Dolores de los Tejas. It was located on the Neches River. The Spanish also needed a colony midway between settlements on the Rio Grande and the new East Texas missions. The journey from the Rio Grande to East Texas was dangerous. Supplies came to the mission slowly or not at all. Although it was against Spanish law, East Texans had to trade with the French in Louisiana or starve. A Spanish settlement between the Rio Grande and East Texas would make it easier to supply the missions. The Spanish chose a site on the San Antonio River. In 1718, they built Presidio San Antonio de Ber. Martin de Alarcon oversaw the work. This settlement later became the city of San Antonio. Many soldiers sent to the Presidio brought their families and settled there. They farmed and built irrigation canals or waterways to water the farmlands. The settlement eventually became a town. Across the river, Father Antonio de San Buenaventura y Olivares founded Mission San Antonio de Valero. The mission chapel there is now known as the Alamo. In about 1748, Jose de Escandon, a military leader from Spain, was given charge of territory from northern Mexico to the San Antonio River. This region was called Nuevo Santander. Over time, Escandon founded 20 settlements in this area. They included Laredo, the colony's capital, and Nuestra Señora de los Dolores. Both were near the Rio Grande. Escandon is sometimes called the father of the lower Rio Grande Valley. Why did Spain think that the San Antonio River would make a good location for a presidio and mission? Spain and France at war. Guiding question: how did events in Europe affect the colonial settlements of Spain and France? France declared war on Spain in late 1718. However, it was not until June of 1719 that the French outpost of Natchitoches in Louisiana heard the news. The French commander immediately set out to attack the nearest Spanish target. This was the San Miguel de Linares de los Ades mission. Only one friar and one soldier were at the mission, and they were easily taken. The French shared news of the war with their captives. France had seized Pensacola, Florida. French soldiers were on their way to attack the East Texas settlements. The two Spaniards managed to escape and reach Nuestra Senora de los Dolores mission. They shared what they had learned. Fearing the French, the missionary soldiers and families panicked and fled to San Antonio. The viceroy of New Spain was angry and planned to retake East Texas. He turned to the Marquis de San Miguel de Aguayo. Marquez de San Miguel. Okay. He was governor of the province of Coahuila in Texas. The viceroy ordered Aguayo to organize a force to meet the French threat. Aguayo's expedition was delayed for nearly 2 years. When it finally arrived, its goal changed from invading to reclaiming lost land. In the spring of 1721, Aguayo marched to Texas with more than 500 soldier settlers, thousands of horses and mules, and herds of sheep and cattle. He reopened the missions that had been abandoned. He also moved Presidio Nuestra Senora de las Dolores to the Angelina River. Aguayo then built a large presidio near the French post of Natchitoches. This site is not far from present-day Robeline, Louisiana. Aguayo called it Nuestra Senora de Pilar de los Adayes. He equipped it with 6 cannons and staffed it with 100 soldiers, and the soldiers built a village nearby for their families. Saint Denis was now in command of the French at Natchitoches. He protested that the presidio and village were in French territory, but he did not try to drive the Spanish away. Aguayo helped strengthen the Spanish presence in Texas. He sent a detachment, or small part of a larger military force, south to the site of La Salle's old fort on Garcitas Creek. He had a presidio built near Matagorda Bay. It was given the name La Bahia. Bahia is Spanish for bay. A mission was established near the presidio, and it came to be called Mission La Bahia. The Native Americans near the settlement did not want to be Christians or move into the mission. Therefore, the mission and the presidio were moved to the Guadalupe River, near more willing Native Americans. Later, they were moved again to the San Antonio River where Goliad now stands. Although the La Bahia mission and presidio were now far from any bay, they kept their original names. Aguayo returned to New Spain, leaving behind 10 missions where there had been 2, and 4 presidios where there had been 1. He also had established a connection by sea between Matagorda Bay and Veracruz in New Spain. The Spanish presence had expanded and had a safe supply line. The French never threatened Texas again. What is a detachment? And that is the end.